Hi guys, Corpen here. Today I thought we would do something different. We're not gonna play War Thunder, but instead I'm gonna talk a little bit about who I am as a 500 subscribers celebration, since we just turned 500 subs on this channel. I thought that I would do something different than my 100 subscribers celebration that I had a long while ago, when I sort of explained who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing and stuff. And instead, I will describe my gaming history and why I play games like War Thunder. And yeah, we're gonna have a look at some very old games starting at around 1996, 97, and then move onwards from that. We might even go as far back as 1996 in some cases. I'm not entirely sure on the years of when the games were released. But for you who don't know me since before, maybe I should introduce myself a little bit first. I am a guy who lives in the northern parts of Sweden. I am an historian, educated and examinated historian with a PhD in history. Currently, at the moment, I'm studying to become an archivist as well. And what does an archivist do? Well, he makes sure that the government or the municipalities saves up papers, or they archive papers that they have to archive according to the Swedish law. And by doing so, they procure important documents for future use or for future knowledge of our culture. So that is a crucial thing, in my opinion, that a society needs. And so that's what I want to do, really. Besides just keeping a check on various documents, you also get to read old documents, and I love history, so why not make it my job, you know? Why not also at the same time help people to gain knowledge of past events that has happened during history? And I guess that this longing has brought me into my current hobby in YouTube, which is making videos. And I want to spread knowledge. I've been thinking about this during the last few days, why I am making YouTube videos. Currently, I'm not really that great at entertaining people. My voice is a bit slow, and just being Swedish, you talk slowly, and living in the northern parts of Sweden, you talk even more slowly than in the southern parts. That comes with being close to the Arctic Circle, you know. Cold temperatures really slow down your body. So that kinda explains why I take a few breathing breaks and I take my time to say something if I want to say it. But yeah, that is basically why I'm doing YouTube. When War Thunder went into closed beta, I realized that the YouTubers who were doing video footage of the closed beta were not that good, to be honest, and they didn't really know tanks the way I did. First, a bit of a disclaimer though. I just want to point out as well that I am just like you, a huge YouTube consumer, and I'm a big fan of YouTubers such as Fly Daily and Baron from Games. Man, I love Baron from Games videos. They're derpy and funny and really entertaining, and they fit my concept of what I want to see on YouTube. So I just enjoy them a great deal. But what I saw when I was looking at their gameplay videos from the closed beta test, from what I saw, I could see that there was something missing. And especially since I had up until that point played World of Tanks, and I've seen people like Quickie Baby playing World of Tanks, And since he could be successful, I thought maybe there's a niche for me here. Um, I'm not as good as he is, but I'm certainly good enough to make informative War Thunder videos. And I was surprised when I saw the World of Tanks YouTubers leaving War Thunder after the closed beta to go back to World of Tanks. I couldn't really understand why they were doing that, so but after that I really felt like I had an open slot to make videos about tanks in War Thunder. So I was looking at, YouTubers such as Fly Daily, Baron for Games, NTAC in particular, and I saw them making these stupid mistakes, and I was like, okay, maybe I should make a tank weak spot video. And a lot of you who are subscribing to my channel has seen those videos, the tank weak spot videos, and you're subscribing to my channel thanks to that video. Although it isn't my best video, or they're not my best video, they're some of my first videos that I ever did. So I plan to keep them on the channel, and since they're my most viewed videos, I really don't see any reason as to why I shouldn't keep them up. It's been a long journey. I've been doing videos for more than a year now, 1.5 years, and I've certainly learned a few tricks of the trade on how to make YouTube videos, and I'm always trying to improve, not only vocally but also, editing videos and how you really catch the attention of the viewer and stuff like that. So I'm looking to improve even more in the near future, or in the future. And I hope you guys will just stick around on this channel, since I am not planning to quit War Thunder at all at the moment, since there's a new tank tree coming up, and at the moment this is the best tank simulator, if you will. It's not really a simulator, but at the moment I'm kinda happy with the semi-realistic setting that War Thunder has, so I'm fine just right about here. This game isn't too arcadey, and it's not as simulator as it could be, with hand cranking of gears and shifting of different buttons and levers that it could be. So I think it's easy to get into, and it fits just the right spot in between simulator and arcade that I'm looking for at the moment with simulator battles. But I've been playing realistic tank simulators in the past, and that's what we're going to go into. My god, it took me almost 8 minutes to say this, so sorry for the long introduction, but if you want to know who I am, this is a good video to watch. And now we are going to have a look at my gaming history, if you will. And yeah, it's a brief history, but it starts in 1996 with the tank game called Panzer Commander, and we're gonna have a look at that now. I have some gameplay, and I do apologize beforehand for the abysmally poor graphics in this game, and you might have a seizure or something like that, but please bear with me. The graphics will get better for every game. We'll start here. So the first tank simulator I ever played in my life was this one, Panzer Commander. In this game you can take control of your platoon of tanks, and you fight out different historical battles that took place during World War II, either as German or a Russian. And this is how the game looks like, and it's a beauty, isn't it? Really boxy graphics, and but it is in 3D. The AI in this game could drive you nuts, because they were totally incompetent and always missed, even if you drove ever so slightly and cautiously forward. Like you can see here, this Tiger has a pretty hard time hitting an M4 Sherman, even at, I don't know, 100 meters of range. But it was what we had at the time, and me and my brother played the shit out of this game. Literally, we played this a lot on his computer. Sometime around 1996, 97. Now here's a similar game, but with better graphics. We've transitioned over to 2 years later, sometime around 1998. No, probably 1999. When a game called Panzer Elite came out, and that game is and was awesome. A realistic tank simulator where you had the option to control almost everything in your tank. And what we're looking at here is a Panther tank moving through France in Normandy. Graphics are great, aren't they? It's a real beauty to watch. But when I played this game, I was stunned by the graphics in the game, and I was just like, wow, things can't get better than this. Only if they brought into planes into this game, it would get better. And eventually my wishes would be fulfilled with the next game. But we're gonna have a closer look at this game. I'll show you firefight footage and really what made this game so great. So not only could you take direct control of your platoon tanks, you were a platoon commander and you were a real panzer commander, and you could call in artillery, and you really felt like a real tank on the battlefield. The game started in Northern Africa in 1942, and your crew would get more and more veterancy as the game progressed, and you would transfer to different tanks. You would start with maybe something like a Panzer IIIJ model, fighting the British or the Americans in Tunisia or Egypt, and then you would move on to better tanks, and your crew would get more and more experience, and they would become elite, and eventually you got transferred to Italy, or first Sicily, and you fought the campaign in Sicily. All historical battles and, authentic stuff. After that you got transferred to France, and that wasn't all. You could also play as the Allied. You could play as an Allied tank crew. So that was kind of cool. You could experience World War II from the German side as well as the Allies. So I completely loved this game, and I loved the pace in the game as well. You had some missions you would just drive down the dirt road for 45 minutes until the action all of a sudden just started. Or you would get jumped by infantry trying to knock out your tank with anti-tank grenades and stuff. So really cool game, really authentic stuff. I just really love this game, and I hope it will make a comeback someday, because if that game would be released, a future version of Panzer Elite, I would be obsessed, to say the absolute least, and I'm not exaggerating here. This was the best game up until date when War Thunder was released in terms of tank simulators. So I was playing that game until the year 2000 when I went abroad for about 1 year, being a volunteer in Israel at the kibbutz. I spent almost a full year down in the Middle East. And when I came back, I got my own place, my first real apartment that I ever had. And my brother invited me over to his place one day, and he said he had gotten a demo of a game that we maybe should probably check out. And it turned out that that game was really all I had wanted, except for the simulation part of tanks. That game was Battlefield 1942, and we're actually looking at the intro of this game at the moment. And for you who haven't seen this game before, It's a game made by DICE, and they're currently making a rather famous game series called Battlefield at the moment. You might have played that or heard about it. I don't know. But this was the game that they started with, or they started the series with. This was the game that made them famous beyond belief. And this was also the game that really put gaming Sweden on the map. Battlefield 1942. And God, did we play this game. And oddly enough, we didn't play it online. It was an online game, but back then it wasn't a certain thing that you had broadband internet. So I played this thing PvE most of the times. I can't even remember playing it PvP. After that, I sort of went back in technology, and me and my friends started playing a game called Eastern Front 2. It was a 2D strategy game, turn-based. A very ugly game, but it was also awesome. It was really a grand strategy game in the sense that you had a whole regiment or a whole army corps, and the game was all about the historical battles, and you could play out almost every battle on the Eastern Front, from the beginning of Operation Barbarossa and until the end of the war. So that was an awesome game that I played a lot together with my friends, and we drank coffee until our hands were shaking. And I can remember staying up all night just playing this thing turn-based. And really that combined with the Panzer Elite were the two games that really led me into history. And I really started thinking about making history a way of life and something that I could work with. And I also started buying history books around that time as well to just learn all that I could about World War II, because it was so fascinating reading about the Second World War. And that was the start, really. After that, I became more and more interested in the Second World War, and I started reading more and more books, as well as books about tanks and stuff. And really after that I started playing other games, like MMO games, started playing World of Warcraft. I probably played that game for 5 or 6 years, something like that. Started raiding in a hardcore fashion, raiding 4 nights a week, or if not more, I can't really remember. And yeah, basically after that I started university. I went out abroad backpacking for half a year. I was working, making money, and then I went back to the university again, and all of a sudden my brother recommended World of Tanks to me, and this was something like 5 years ago. And I hadn't really been in touch with my World War II history side of myself for a long time. I mean, I had been reading books all along, but I hadn't really been playing games that had anything to do with World War II, except for maybe the Call of Duty World at War games and so on. And my brother recommended World of Tanks. So yeah, I just downloaded it and thought, yeah, maybe I can try this out while I wait for the PvP battlegrounds in World of Warcraft or something like that. So it started out as a funny little game, almost like a browser game that I jumped into and had a few games every now and then all of a sudden I had been playing World of Tanks almost every day for 4 hours a day for 2 years. And that was really the start of me thinking maybe I could make a living somehow out of gaming. I don't know how, but maybe it's doable. Maybe I should try to apply for a job at at the gaming magazine or something like that. So I had that in mind all along, that I would like to try to work with gaming combined with history. Now I'm not saying I'm getting paid for doing this, or I am, but the payment isn't really enough to pay the rent. Not at all. I'm making ridiculously little money out of my YouTube page. But it's fun, so I keep on doing it. And after World of Tanks, I started browsing the internet for other World War II games. I wanted to see whether Panzer Elite had made a sequel to their game, and I found out that they had, but that was an action game on Xbox 360, so that was out of the question. I wanted something a bit more simulator than World of Tanks, not more arcadey. I found out about War Thunder, so I signed up for the beta. And I got into the closed beta well before any other player got into the game. And I tried it out and I hated it. It was all about airplanes and there was no tanks. And during the first game I had to fight Focke-Wulf 190s in my P26 pea shooter. And I was just like, man, had they screwed up this game or what? I'm never gonna play this again. Yeah, basically that's the story of why I'm playing War Thunder. Eventually I came back to the game somewhat like 1 year later, after ditching War Thunder, going back to World of Tanks, continuing to play that, and then after maybe half a year or something I had enough and I wanted to do something else than to play tanks. So I thought to myself, well, why not have another go at War Thunder? Maybe they've improved the game somewhat. Because I knew that it was in early stages of beta, and I had seen the introduction movies, and I knew what they wanted to do with the game. And I suspected that they might be interested to add tanks into the game, just as they had added planes before. So I came back to War Thunder, and I'm still here. And that's the story of why I am playing War Thunder, really, and why I'm making YouTube videos. So, as always, guys, if you liked the video, please like. And if you really like the video and you're not subscribed to my channel, please feel free to subscribe to my channel for some more gameplay, because I'm gonna make a few more War Thunder videos. Not today, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see. One thing is certain though, you will definitely get more videos on this channel. And feel free to share your story as to why you play tank games. I love to hear all the stories that I get to hear on this channel. They're all interesting to me and it's just fun, you know. What kind of games have you been playing? Did you play Counter-Strike? Did you play, I don't know, World War II fighters during the 90s like I did? Or did you play Pac-Man? You loved it? I don't know. Let us guys know and let's have a good old discussion about video games in this thread in the commentary section below. So thank you all for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys around in the next video. And yeah, maybe I should leave the video rolling until the game is over for me, at least. In this game I'm driving out the M5A1 Stuart. And if I'm not completely mistaken, I think this was the last edition of this tank. They had made a lot of Stuart variants until this tank, and this was the one that got to stay around in the American Army and as well as in the Marine Corps. The Marines used these a lot in the Pacific because they were small and they were easy to transport. But they weren't really happy with them because the 37mm gun on the tank didn't at all cut it when it came to knocking out bunkers and stuff. So they ended up having to use the M4 Shermans, and the M5 Stuarts were really vulnerable to Japanese 47mm anti-tank guns that were portable and easy to transport in on the atolls around the Pacific. This was really the last real light tank that saw any tank-on-tank combat during World War II. The US used the M24 Chaffee, but it didn't really see a lot of service, although the M5 Stuart did. But yeah, the game is over by now. We've won the game, and it doesn't really happen all that much during this game. So I'm gonna cut it here, and I'm gonna end the video by once again thanking you for viewing this video all the way to the end, and I hope to see you around in the next video.